I started off with maybe people here are familiar with this feeling. I started off late writing, and I began with these kind of highly conceptual, fantastic tales, stories, novels. They're short novels. There are 3 of them. And they all start with a kind of sort of a provocative conceit in the fantastic. And then the writer gets hooked up to that, and you carry this logic through, and it's going to be funny, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But it was very limiting in some ways, because the logic of the novel dictates so much. In other words, the thing itself. This story, in recent years, it's become, and this is very much against my will. I'm not against my will, but I mean against my better judgment, maybe, but also necessary, and it's things have moved into a closer connection to autobiography and a certain kind of realism, a certain kind of concreteness that's going to sustain rather than break down all the time or turn into the author's ruminations on something or into joking, or into craziness of some kind. So this story is that. There's a tremendous amount of autobiography in this story. And so I wrote a memoir and had breakdowns after it and went through some of that kind of stuff. So then choosing to try to write about it and write clearly and concretely about that, as opposed to maybe sort of, hand waving a little bit, and I had some trouble, that kind of thing. I had a lot of trouble. So I'm coming to the point now, because I've been coming out with this and trying to write more about it, I'm coming to the point now that is comparable probably to, or similar to, what recovering alcoholics talk about when they talk about being a grateful alcoholic. They don't mean I'm grateful to be sober, only they mean I'm grateful for the whole trip. So for me, this whole trip has had some kind of larger effect on the way that I feel things, the way that I'm less anxious now. So I think a little better as a result. But it was a horrible experience. But my sense of it is that it brought the writer somewhere new, and now the writer can do more. So in spite of this trip that was a very much life and death for a long time, I'm kind of starting over. So I'm one of the really, I've not had a good time in my career, my writing. It hadn't been some kind of like shot anywhere. But I feel very lucky, and I feel very, very happy to come out into a feeling where it could still keep going and write maybe even more freely, and then also take on all of this material, as it were, content, which is very meaningful, but to try to explore this difficult thing called psychosis, the suicidal psychosis and the physical body feelings. So this is all just part of trying to work out technically how you do that, So it's a big challenge, and it's something I want to do. So all of this autobiographical stuff becomes, for me, has almost nothing to do with revelations or what people might know or not know about me. It's very irrelevant to me. What's relevant is that the thing that gets made is good, and that it's readable and causes empathic engagement and so on. So I'm a little older now. I've survived some memoir, and that's a long answer to a question. But I think contextually speaking, I think that what I want to say is, or in the way of context, is to say that all of this is a movement toward different kind of use of writing, the idea of what it is. It's more of it hurts more. But that's okay,